Thanks everybody for coming. First, before I say anything, I want to welcome and thank some of our distinguished visitors here. Start off first with former Mayor John Cook, who is here. Mayor Cook, thank you so much for being here. Also, I want to thank Marcos Chavez for coming. He's running for Constable Precinct 1. So there he is. There's Marcos. I've been seeing Marcos at many events, and we're getting to know each other, huh? Very good. Siria Rocha as a candidate for tax assessor collector. Where's Siria? He was here a minute ago. Where's she at? All right. Leo Maldonado is also here. He's the president of the El Paso Young Lawyers. Welcome. Welcome. Miss Patsy Lopez, precinct chair number 128, right there. Hey, Patsy. And Ms. Pee-wee Mir from Precinct 29, the Precinct 29 chair. Pee-wee's here. There she is. All right. Very good, very good. Thank you all so much for coming. It's wonderful to see all of your faces here, and it gives me a lot of, it buoys my support for me, okay? I need that kind of support from you all, because this is the reason that I'm running. It's for you. A lot of people that know me know that I've kind of been contemplating running for district attorney for a long time. Some people have asked me before, and I've said, no, it's not time, or I'm not ready, or it just isn't the right circumstance yet. And this time I want to let you all know that I looked at this and I thought about it for a long time, and I gave it a great deal of thought and consideration. I talked to many of you here in the room about it, and what I came to the realization is that there isn't going to be a perfect time. There isn't going to be that ideal moment. So you have to seize your opportunities, as many of us know this. You have to go out there and you have to make things work. You have to try and put yourself out there, and that's what I'm doing for you all. I've decided that it's time to quit complaining. It's time to quit standing back and just taking what comes. But somebody has to put themselves out there to decide that today is when the criminal justice system in El Paso has to change. When we have to quit doing the things we have to quit doing the same thing year after year after year and expecting different results. We have to go out and we have to be the change that we want to see in the world. Now, why am I qualified above many of you, or why do I feel like I'm qualified to be the district attorney? Well, many of you know me, okay? And for those of you that don't, I grew up here in El Paso. This is my home. I grew up in the Lower Valley. I went to Isleta High School, graduated from Isleta High School back in 1989. I then went on to go to college at the New Mexico Military Institute in Roswell, New Mexico, where I got my commission in the U.S. Army way back in 1991. After that, I went on to the University of Houston, finished my bachelor's degree, and then went to Temple University in Philadelphia. I went a long way away for law school. Okay? After that, I came back to El Paso. I spent a little bit of time with the district attorney's office, and thankfully I did, because that's where I met my lovely wife, Michelle. Okay? Big applause for Michelle. Okay. And again, those of you that know me know that I'm a glutton for punishment. That's why I married a lawyer. So I never win an argument at home, and I don't expect to. So, and together we've had three wonderful kids who are here. My son Elias, my son Sammy, and my princess Bella back there. But we are putting ourselves out there for you, obviously. And over the last nearly 20 years now, I have been practicing here in El Paso, mainly as a criminal defense attorney. And those of you that know me know that I don't shy away from tough cases. I've handled a lot of tough cases, a lot of unpopular cases for unpopular people, and gotten to know some of these people at the worst times in their lives, the people that are vilified, the people that are put upon. So I believe that I have a particular perspective about these things. Like every one of us here in El Paso, we all want to have a great city. We want to have a city we feel safe in. We want to have a city we feel like we're safe from crime in. We want criminals to be punished for what they've done. But we don't want to have justice run amok. We don't want to have these things just be statistics. We want to have people deal with people. And right now, that's not what's happening. What's happening, what's most important to the district attorney now is statistics, numbers, grants, dollars. We've lost the people in all of this. We've lost our vision of what we want as a community. And I think that can change, and all of us want it to change. That's why we're here, right? So what am I doing? Why am I running? Well, look, I'm not running against the current DA. I'm not running against another candidate. I'm running for this office because I feel I'm qualified for this office. I feel like I have a more diverse experience than, frankly, many of you here that are lawyers in this room right now. I've practiced in state court. I've practiced in federal court. I practiced in military court before court martials. I do cases in juvenile court. I do family law. I do CPS. I do a wide breadth of things. I have a very, very unique perspective and vision for what I think this community can be, what I think our district attorney's office can be, and how we can go forward. Now, what's going to be different? What am I going to change? And a lot of you that are lawyers are maybe asking yourselves that question. Well, what are you going to do, Lenny? How are you going to handle this? Well, first of all, I'm going to give you access to me. Many of you know that it's almost impossible to meet with Jaime. You call him up, you try and get a meeting, whatever, you get 10 minutes of nothing, okay? I will pledge to each and every one of you attorneys here that if you call me, if you pull me aside on the street, if you pull me aside in the courthouse, I'm going to talk to you. Okay? You all know me. And this is how I want to interact with you all, because I know that you all as professionals, you're not going to waste my time. You're not going to waste your own time. But we're going to discuss things, and we're going to try and reach a resolution that matters for the people involved, the real people involved. Also, we're going to have things like access to the cases before they go to the grand jury, before they get indicted. Right now, I mean, it's impossible to get anything before a DA to talk about a case before it's indicted. We just can't do it. And so many of the problems that we have right now with bad cases and bad prosecutions is that no one looks at these things before they get indicted. And once they get indicted, so much of the wheels are in motion, so much of the snowball is already going downhill, it's impossible to stop sometimes. And it ruins people's lives, and people's lives that don't need to be ruined. So I think that as a defense attorney, as an attorney period, you should be able to talk to a DA about the case you have long before it's indicted. I think that's important, and we need to open those avenues of communication. We need to be able to talk to one another. And the DAs need to be able to talk to you. So absolutely, I know all of you think, well, give the DA some discretion. Now, I feel like if I hire a district attorney, if I hire a lawyer, whether they're a rookie out of law school or whether they're 10 years in practice, I hired them for a reason. I hired them because they're lawyers, they're professionals, and I expect them to make calls. I expect them to do the right thing. I expect them to be held accountable and responsible to me for the calls that they make. And they will be. But they will have discretion. They will be able to make calls. They will be able to deal with you directly about your cases. And I want you all to know that those are the things that I pledge to you that are going to be different in this office. Now, overall, with everything that I pledge to you about what's going to be different with the district attorney's office, the most important thing is objectivity and fairness. We're going to be objective about things. I'm not interested in conviction rates. I'm not interested in statistics. I'm interested in crimes that are being committed, that they're being punished appropriately, that we're doing the right things. And we're doing the right things for the right reasons. So what I want to bring to the table is a perspective that's unique, different from a lot of other district attorneys around who are career prosecutors or just didn't have a lot of experience dealing with these things. You all and I that have worked with me know that, I kind of suffer for a lot of my cases, and we work really hard. Corey and I work really hard on cases. Cammie and I work really hard. Terry's worked with me before. All of you know that, and all of you that do defense work know that the hardest thing you have to do is have someone sitting next to you and their life is in your hands. And I don't know that you can be a real lawyer before you know and have that perspective. But many of us don't have that opportunity. I consider it a privilege to be able to represent people in the way that we do. But I'll also consider it a privilege to represent all of you as the district attorney, because I will be representing you. It's not about me, it's about all of you and what we want from our community. Now, lots of people ask me, why do I want to run? Why do you want to run? And that's kind of the trick question, I guess. Why do you want to be the district attorney? Well, first of all, it is for you. It's for all of you, so that we can try and have the community that we want. We can have the justice process that we really want, so that the district attorney's office can be responsive to the needs of people and the needs of everybody involved. You all, victims, defendants, families, all of those affected by crime. That's the first thing, because I want to be there for you all. I think I can do that for you. Next is for that soldier, that veteran. That's a thing that's really near and dear to my heart. We have over 75,000 soldiers at Fort Bliss right now. There's a whole division headquartered at Fort Bliss. A lot of you don't appreciate that. A lot of you don't know how significant that is. That is a whole city being moved to Fort Bliss. It's changed the character and nature of Fort Bliss irreparably. All the ADA guys went away, all the button pushers went away, and all these trigger pullers came in. And these are people with real combat experience, people that have been in harm's way multiple times. And what drives me crazy is when I see a young DA tell me, a soldier, so what? There's lots of soldiers in here. Well, there's only two types of people that tell me that. People that haven't served, or people that have no respect for that service. And that, I find that insulting. As a veteran myself after 25 years. I joined up back in 1989. I retired recently after 25 years. I served with some of you in here. I served with Stuart Leeds over there, who was one of my supervisors and good friends. We served for a long time together. But we all know and appreciate the sacrifice that these young men and women give to you all the time. This blanket of freedom and liberty and this country that we live in, and we don't think about it a whole lot. Well, I think about it a whole lot. I've missed things when I was away, and things that I will not get back. And who did I give those things to? I gave them to you for your freedom. So it's those sacrifices that I can internalize and I can appreciate. And it does matter that they're soldiers. It does matter that they're Marines. It does matter that they're airmen and sailors and Coast Guardmen, because they're out for you. We need to help them, not crush them. When soldiers come back with PTSD, PTSD is not a cop-out. It's not an excuse. It's a real thing. Okay? I urge you all to go on to my Facebook page. There's a video I posted there a couple days ago. It's from a documentary, man, and it really it got to me, dude, because that's what these men and women go through. That's what it's about. And it's not always shooting. It's the being away from family. It's the constant mortar attacks. It's not being able to sit in the mess hall and have just a meal. All of these things are important, and we need to keep them in mind. Now, I also want to be there for the cop that does a good job out there every day, protecting you, protecting me, patrolling those streets, putting himself or herself on the line every day. A lot of the times, as the district attorneys, as the ADAs, they don't give a lot of consideration to these guys. The sheriffs, the detectives, the firemen, the EMTs, all these people do a service. They're not just names in a page. They're not just statements drawn out of a file. These are real people, and they're trying to do a job. And we need to support that job, not just use them. We also want to be there for the Danny Villegases out there. All of these people who bullied and railroaded by the criminal justice process. People that find themselves in impossible situations with impossible accusations. You know, we deal with those things every day. Mario, we deal with that stuff, right? And we deal with these things. Sergio, you know that. Sometimes you get accused of something that there's no way to get that stink off you, even if it's completely something that you can't prove. And many of us here will never know what that's like, to have an accusation like that levied against you and be put upon and be looked at as something not like us. Now you're different. Many of us will have never have that privilege of knowing what it's like to be there. But many of us in here know what it's like to stand in front of and between the mob and that guy or gal and be able to say, look, I'm drawing the line right here. This is where it stops. And we need a district attorney that understands that perspective and understands that the mob is not right. The mob is not the way to do things. Again, it comes back to people and wanting to do things for people and realizing that all of us are involved. All of us have a stake in this. And when you ask someone, well, what does the public get out of the district attorney's office? Well, you get the community you want. Because if we're not treating the least of us as we would want to be treated, there's something wrong, very, very wrong going on. And that's what I want to bring. I want to bring a new vision, a new direction. I want to bring some objectivity, some fairness to this system. Let's go back to doing justice and not just getting convictions, not just putting people away. Let's try and do the right thing. Okay? Thank you all so much for coming. Okay. Thanks to Nolita's for having us. Okay. I hope you spend a lot of money here because I know they'll like that. Okay. But again, thank you all so much. And if you have questions, if you want to help, if you want to do any of these things, just let me know. Reach out to me. Okay. If you have questions of me, just ask me. I'm a very approachable guy, I'd like to think. So again, thank you all for coming. I love you all. Okay?